Hi, Jones S. here, the MG Midget Guru. Today I want to talk to you about Armstrong lever arm shock absorbers. The shock absorbers that came originally with the MG Midget. Every so often what happens is you might notice that it just bounces a lot more than usual. These are starting to go, but they're not terrible. I remember my dad would often have to replace these every 6 months or so, and the reconditioned ones will cost you a pretty penny, sometimes as much as 300 bucks. So what do you do about it? Here's one that's been taken out of the car. Now this one was in the car for quite some time, and it sort of got worn out, and I bought a replacement from Worldwide Auto Parts, and I'll get more into that later. I did a little research, and it turns out that these actually leak on purpose. Right in here. There's a bearing that requires oil all the time, and the only way they could figure to keep it lubricated is to allow the oil that's inside to leak out. The shock absorber does not use air. It's not an air shock like you find in more modern cars. This whole assembly in here is filled completely with a type of oil. It's this very specific weight. Every so often you do have to refill these. The only way to do that is by taking it out of the car, taking off the cover, and then of course you do have to cut a gasket out of just stock gasket material in this particular shape that you see outlined right here. You know, bolt it in place, get it real nice, and what you fill it with is some fork oil that you can buy at your local Harley-Davidson dealer. It must be 20 weight. This stuff works pretty good. Now, basically, you just sort of pour it in. Let me get this cap off. Like so. Get the cap off. And we're just going to show you what it's like right now. When you move this arm here, you'll see that there's stuff in there moving. This is actually a con rod. This is another con rod. And these will actually move pistons in these cylinders up and down, back and forth, forcing the oil back and forth across this cross tube. And there is a valve that you can see right here that limits the amount of oil that can go back and forth. If there is a great amount of force applied all at once, like so, real fast, like it hits a big bump, that valve will open, allowing more oil to go through, so that you don't get a back slamming ride. It'll absorb it, and then it'll just sort of dampen it so that you don't end up bouncing up and down a lot. Now, what you do next is you just sort of take your oil, you pour it in, you'll probably start to see it bubble. That's normal. It doesn't take a whole lot, and then you just sort of want to work it back and forth to try, and you'll notice that there's a lot more bubbles in there, and then it'll start getting real stiff. And that's normal. That should happen. We've just seen, I'm putting a lot of force onto this, and it's real stiff, okay? That's exactly how it should act. It should not be quite as easy as it was before. So you can do this about once every 6 months or so, or just whenever your car starts feeling like it's bouncing up and down. It's real difficult, I'll tell you, for the back end. So I think it's a much better bet to get some reconditioned ones from Worldwide Auto Parts. Because what they actually do is they replace the stock bearings with ball bearings and put in oil seals, so those don't leak. They keep their oil for quite a long time. I can tell you right now, these were built by Worldwide Auto Parts, and I can tell you that they have lasted a very long time. They've lasted almost 2 years by now, and I really do not think I will ever have to replace them. They're a worthwhile investment. You spend about 90 bucks on them or so, and they just keep on going. However, tell you now that the ones that haven't been rebuilt by Worldwide Auto Parts are not like this. This is one that was purchased probably through Victoria British or Moss Motors, something like that. And these do wear out. You get oil that leaks out because it's designed to. And plus, if you don't refill them, There's no oil lubricating them, they just go dry and then they just wear out. When that happens, your shaft gets a lot of play in it and your car starts getting really squirrely in a lot of different ways. So it's good to maintain these things. It's best if you just go with the Worldwide Auto Parts one. They always have a sticker on it so you can tell. And I hope that I've helped you somehow. I want to wish you all safety fast and good luck. This is Jones S. saying bye-bye.